I've been talking for the past 6 years about, it seems, I don't know. Have you ever worked with a company? Because obviously you were like the top ad guy, the top branding guy. Have you ever worked with a company that just keeps losing?
Oh.
And comes back
and that's
to you
their brand?
and says, let's try that again? I mean, it's like any company like that did like New Coke.
Yeah.
And then said, that went so badly, let's try that again next year.
Purple Coke.
And next year, and next year. And I say this seriously, like the Republican Party, they just keep losing. And you listen to people making arguments for the party, and they're still playing to the echo chamber. They're still playing to the bubble. They're still playing to. And by the way, there are progressives that do that too. But when Democrats run, guess what? They pick Joe Biden in primaries. They pick the only moderate guy in primary because they want to win. They pick Eric Adams in primaries, even in New York City, because they want to win. But the Republicans, I'm just dumbfounded by the fact they keep losing. They keep making the same stupid arguments. We're talking about Ron DeSantis. Now Ron DeSantis is deciding to run against the vaccine, which I'm sure will really inspire about 7% of Americans. Like, why wouldn't he just talk about what he did on schools? Why do they keep going back to the hot stove and placing their hand on top of it? When will they ever learn?
It's hard to find a commercial analogy because the company would be bankrupt. You can't keep doing it. As you said, if New Coke kept coming out and there was New Coke and New Coke 2, 3, 4, 5, there would be no more Coke. So I don't think we can look into the world of capitalism to find that because it doesn't exist. Joe, as far as why DeSantis does what he does you've called it, politics of gesture. I'll call it politics of stunting. It seems, owning the libs. And every time he does it, as you said, he backs off in the end. As far as why the Republicans continue to just kind of bow to the god of this extreme right, and, we've covered it ad nauseum on the show, is that because the leaders are worried about their next election run and getting primaried and losing because that 15-20% of the base votes. It's insanity. There is no rational explanation.
It is insanity.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They keep appointing. Jim, it's insanity because you take Ronna McDaniel. I remember like Republicans, sometimes they would fire people who even had great midterms, even had great elections. It's time to move on. But with the Republicans, they keep losing, and they've turned this RNC position into it's like it's a club. It's like it's a social club. They don't give a damn whether they win or lose. Oh, let's just pick her again. Yes, she lost in 17. Yes, she lost in 18. Yes, she lost in 19. Yes, she lost in 20. Yes, she lost in 22. Let's pick her again. I just want people out there to know this never happens. People talk about Washington being a club and being swampy. This is the swampiest, most clubbish thing ever.
But it's like a loser swamp.
For 5 years in a row, and the club keeps picking you because they don't care about winning. They just want to keep their club together.
Yeah, I hadn't considered it in that way, that it is like that it is like the swampiest thing. Ironically, it is the swampiest thing ever. And McDaniel, I'm not sure it's really her fault, right? That it is that I think Trump is more to blame for what happened in 2022 than what the RNC chair was going to do. But at moments like this, when you do have big losses, the normal thing to happen, the healthy thing to happen, is for new leadership to come forward and to try to put the party in a different direction, whether that's Democrats or the Republicans. And there were people who won in tough races for Republicans during the 2022 midterms. They won in Wisconsin. That was a tough Senate race. They won in Ohio. That was a tough Senate race. They won in North Carolina. That was tough, too. There's a lot of House members. There's House members from Republicans from New York that won. Any one of those leaders or their consultants could be coming forward to say, here's a new path. and we want to challenge Ron McDaniel. And instead, what you have is a majority of the individuals at the ARNT that are members of the Republican National Committee making the decision, signing a letter, making the decision that they want to continue to back Ronna because there is no other, there's nothing underneath the sort of broken party that Trump blew up. There's not anything else there. And the only person who is sort of emerged as somebody to possibly challenge Ronna, although people seem to be sticking with her, is a woman named Harmeet Dillon, who's from California, who her big issue, she came to the fore by being an anti-vaxxer, an anti-lockdown, an anti-mandate person. So it's like back to, even further down that rabbit hole. But this is, we're not seeing what parties do to make themselves healthy after, as you have pointed out a few times, Joe, 6 years of losing.
6 years of losing, Willie. And this is the party of Haley Barbour. Haley Barbour used to have this position. That guy was about three things: winning, winning, and winning. And if you got in the way of winning, then you got out of Haley's way really, really fast. Now they're just about losing. It is their brand. They're losers. They lose elections. And they do nothing about it.
We played the clip in our last hour of former Speaker John Boehner weeping as he talked about Speaker Nancy Pelosi. He was Speaker of the House 7 years ago. Consider that where the party was just 7 years ago and where it is now.